I've made these hoods before, several times in fact. I can almost make them in my sleep. I usually made them out of fleece, but then I got a request to do them out of faux fur. Here's the stuff that I learned. This pattern is Simplicity 1795. If you'd like a tutorial on how to make them, let me know in the comments. There's many different types of furs. The fur, or pile, varies with each piece. There's all kinds of different lengths of fur. Depending on the different lengths, different steps need to be taken, especially with the long pile. This is a tutorial on how to work with faux fur. Or, better yet, how to work with faux fur so that it doesn't look like you shaved a cat. It's quite challenging, but very rewarding. This is how you straighten your fur. This is the selvage edge of the fur. It's larger than most. If you want a certain length of fur, cut carefully past the selvage edge, just cutting the backing, not the fur. Once you've cut past the selvage edge, tear it. Now your edge is straight. This is literally the only piece of fluff that resulted. There are some furs that do not have a good backing, and when you tear them, they do not tear straight, nor will they tear nicely. The back will sometimes indicate how good it is. This one might very well tear sideways, literally. So to get a length of fur, for this one you would just have to cut it. Do small snips, just on the backing. There will always be some fluff as a result, but you can carefully pull it off so that it doesn't shed everywhere. This is a lovely fur, but it's not a good quality. Here's a close-up. Another technique for removing fluff is with packing tape. As you can see, it took all the loose stuff. I prefer just pulling on it, saves on tape. For this tutorial, I'm going to be doing one of the ears from the pattern, just so that it's compact and it gets the point across. For animal ears, the fur will actually go forward to the front of the ear. That's how we're going to do them. This is what not to do. Rule number 1, do not cut your fur just like you would any other fabric. Look at all the resulting fluff. It's not even a nice result. Turn the fur down so that the backing is facing up. Using tiny snips, carefully cut just the backing, not the fur underneath. It will take a little bit longer, but the results will be very rewarding. Carefully pull on the edges to get the loose fur. That's much better. Here's a comparison of the two. These rules definitely apply to the longer furs. Fur side down, with tiny snips, just cut the back. The more careful you are, the less fluff you'll have as a result. Pull gently to get the loose fluffs. Sometimes if the fabric is significantly thick because of the pile, you'll have to trim the fur within the seam allowances. You don't have to take off a lot, just enough that it's not bulky. Gently pull to get the loose hairs. This would result in the most mess, but it's still manageable. With right sides together, we're going to make the ear. Carefully tuck in the pile between the two pieces of fabric. And sew around. And flip it. Sometimes your trimmed fur will show up, but it's very minor. When the fur is thin enough that you don't have to trim it, that it's not too bulky, when you flip it, it may not look as nice because the fur is trapped within the seam allowance. Trim the fabric, not the fur. Flip it back out. And using a pokey instrument, I use my awl, I use it to pull out the fur from the seam allowance. That's much better. Here's two different ears with two different lengths of pile. Why don't you have a go at it?